I want to say a quick thank you for all the people that have checked out the podcast on video via YouTube, via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast from. Because in December, I managed to hit target of 1,000 downloads, and that's because of all you people listening. So thank you very much. There'll be a lot more to come, including this right now. So enough from me. I'm going to pass it back over to me, and I will hit the jingle right now.
Hello, Internet. You're listening to the In Your House comedy podcast with the Babyface and his fellow funny friend. Now hold on to your butts. Keep your arms and legs inside the podcast at all times. Prepare to have an autographical orgasm in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the In Your House comedian podcast. The show where I sit down with one of my fellow funny friends from around the comedy circuit to talk about anything and everything. I am joined today by the epitome of German engineering, the head of the table representing the Middle Class Mafia, Mr. Alex Plant.
Hello.
I remembered all the things I could do.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah. But how was your new year, actually? It's
Yeah.
the first podcast of the new year. So
I know, yeah.
happy 2023.
Happy 2023.
And our first
Indeed.
podcast has actually got to be, because we've done like quite a few podcasts together, our first one in person. Like,
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
First one, face to face. It's good. Yeah, New Year was good. Nice and chill. I think there's a stage in your life where as you get past 30, you decide that actually going out is pointless.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. The actual going, you mean just on New Year's or in general?
Like going out on New Year's, going out is all right on occasion. You
But
start
it does feel generally pointless a lot of the time.
after you're 30 though, you start sort of just going to pubs and bars and stuff as opposed to like anything else. So yeah, it does start sort of winding, because you realise very, very quickly that you're getting older, but the clientele at the pubs, clubs and stuff, is remaining 18 to 20s, and it's kind of like, yeah. I mean, it's the whole reason why, those holidays, those package holidays that you used to get were 18 to 30s. And as much as they were 18 to 30s, I think the oldest person who went on one was like 22.
Yeah, more than like 18 to 22, 23. If
Yeah.
you're the 30-year-old going on one of them, then yeah, you're probably weird. Having to give ID to show, no, I'm not too old to be here, probably means you're too old.
Yeah, true. True. If you get ID'd for like looking old, then
Yeah, you're too
it's
old.
a very surreal situation. But yeah, I went to watch the rugby, which was very nice.
It doesn't
Enjoyed
surprise me
that.
that you went to watch rugby, to be honest.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I went to see.
Rugby's one of those things where it seems like a lot of posh people go to watch the barbarians kill each other. It's like Rome with the Colosseum, it's very much like that.
And it's funny you should mention the Barbarians, because the Barbars are actually a team. The Barbarians, yeah.
Oh, they're called the Barbars.
The Barbarians, yeah. You call them the Barbars for short.
I know, I don't call them
Barbars.
Barbars.
Often, so one of the sort of matches towards the autumn, so the end of the actual season, but you're talking sort of summertime, basically end of season, is Barbars versus England, England versus Barbarians. So the Barbarians are basically a team made up of all sorts. So you've got it's similar to the British Lions, but for Australia. So you've got British Lions, which is a makeup of Britain basically, and all the rugby players.
Like that in rugby.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like England and stuff.
Yeah. So you've got the British Lions, which basically go away and do the autumn internationals against teams like Australia, New Zealand.
What is there a reason why it's like sometimes England, sometimes Britain?
No, not really. It's just a team of like the best players in Britain.
We haven't got enough from the separate ones.
Well, yeah, no, we've got amazing players in each of our teams,
but a super team.
But it's not. Yeah, it's basically a super team. It's like a super group, basically. And the Barbars is a similar thing. So it's made up of sort of New Zealanders, Australians, Fijians, Samoans.
Fijians.
Yeah.
I've never heard that term used for them. Fijians.
Fijians? Fijians, yeah.
Is that
Fiji.
actually like the real thing?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Same as Samoans.
Oh yes, Samoa, that one.
Samoa.
I learned
Fijian.
not quite the same thing. It's going to sound worse than it is, but this is legitimately true.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the name for a group of little people is called a knot of little people, like a KNOT.
A knot of.
A knot of little
as in
people.
what you tie, right? Okay.
Ironically, the shorter they are, the harder it is to tie them into a knot.
Right. Okay.
Ironically.
Yes. Yeah. I would agree with that. Being of the long limb fraternity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I would agree.
As a long-legged Mac Daddy, you get it?
Yeah. Makes sense.
And the other one, it says for Asians, but I gathered from what it says, it means like the American term of Asian, so it means like Eastern Asia, so like Japanese, Chinese, Koreans, that part of Asia.
So the south, like the Pacific Islands and all around there. Yeah.
It's a group of them is called a noodle of Asians.
A noodle.
No lie, it is called a noodle.
Okay. And
Sounds
that's not like a derogatory term.
No, it sounds like it should be.
Yeah, it does.
It's in the same way though that like a group of a group of crows is a murder.
Murder of crows.
Yeah. Heard a few different ones of them, like
gaggle of geese.
That's a great one.
Gaggle.
I like that one.
Yeah. There's loads of weird, wonderful ones.
I heard something like a Christmas decoration that Mum keeps saying the name of, and apparently they're quite popular at the moment. But you hear the name, and it just sounds like it should be racist. A gonk.
A gonk.
A gonk.
What is a gonk?
What do you think it is when I say it? It sounds like one step away from what are those things?
Well, a gonk sounds like a comedy sound effect, like he's hearing the old Batman Robin, like gonk. You know what I mean?
I'll give you that one. Yeah.
Like bow and all that sort of stuff.
It's like ironically, it's like a long-legged Santa, but it's not Santa. It's not a Christmas decoration.
Oh right, okay.
But it looks like that though, like a long-legged.
Oh, so the dangly.
Yeah.
You sit them on your mantelpiece and they dangle their legs over. Okay.
Make some noise.
A gonk. Okay.
This is one thing I imagine you probably know about, actually, being someone what's the name for it when the farmy people. Go along in the forestry and that with their shotguns. I don't mean hunting.
What, like countryside people of the aristocracy? Are you thinking aristocracy?
Countryside people. Your brethren.
People. Country folk. Yeah.
Do you know if you're walking around Kent now, you need to be not so much careful, but aware that there's now giant animals walking around?
No.
Yeah, they've rewilded the outskirts of Kent with bison.
Yes, actually, yes. I remember watching this on. I'm going to sound incredibly middle class here. I remember watching this on Country File.
Oh,
so yeah.
Never watched that. Surely that's got to be the most interesting thing that's happened on Country File for like decades.
Oh no, Country File is actually really interesting. I love Country File. Like, one thing that I've randomly discovered. So
butterfly flew down today.
No, it's not quite that. It's kind of, looking at farming in the community and all that sort of stuff. And there are like little interesting things about towns and people who make, statues out of wood and stuff like that. But
random one.
Yeah, it's and sheepdog trials, and stuff like that, and the laws on hare coursing and all this stuff. There's loads of random topics that come up on Country File, but it's good. It's good. Yeah. But the one thing that I have discovered as I've got older is I am very much a millennial raised by boomers. So my parents are the baby boomer generation, so they're in their 70s now, and of course all those values are sort of distilled into me as a millennial, which makes me completely out of kilter with anyone else who's a millennial.
Well, I mean, what are those values though?
Well, I really like. So I've recently got into watching Call the Midwife.
Oh, okay.
I like Call the Midwife. I like that sort of stuff. I mean, I will. I remember shows such as. I remember watching. Heartbeat.
Heartbeat was good.
Yeah.
That's replayed at the moment on ITV4, man. I'm happy to watch them.
Yeah, I remember watching The Professionals on ITV4, I think. The Professionals, Bodie and Doyle. Massive, one's got massive hair. The actor died a couple of years ago.
Oh.
One of the actors did. I think it was, I want to say Bodie died. But I'm not sure.
R.I.P. Bodie.
And
R.I.P. Pele.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. He's been worshipped like a god.
Oh,
he's got 3 days of mourning.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a legitimate, Maradona. In Argentina, there's the Church of Maradona. It's like a cult. We covered it on one of the podcasts. They just have hymns that are like football songs, and they generally pray to Maradona.
Yeah.
And what was it? Messi? I think it was Messi. He's one of their prophets as well now. Is he Argentina as well?
No, nothing about football, so I'm going to say yes.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, you know about rugby but not football. That is once again very middle class, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going for rugby though. I mean, one of the nicest things about rugby is, one, you can drink in the stands.
You're not doing that in football?
You're not allowed to drink in the stands in football.
Really?
As far as I'm aware, anyway, yeah. So you can't bring it, you can't sit in your seat and have a pint. You can have a pint at half time and whatever. But you can't bring it to your seat.
What the hell are they complaining that in Qatar in that case then?
Like hooliganism.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen anyway, doing it.
Is a thing.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Siri's interrupting.
Siri, how rude of Siri.
I know. Tell me about it.
You're going to need to withhold sex from her tonight now.
What?
You heard?
Okay, weird. What you do in your own time is completely up to you.
No shaking the wrist. She knows what's going on when you do it.
If you're left-handed.
Well, no, that's just
it depends on which side you wear your Apple Watch on.
It does decide, and you put it on the side that does use it. Like at the moment, left hand. If you're right-handed, that means you obviously want to feel like someone else is doing it. In the same way people sit on their hands.
Yeah, whatever's going through your little mind, KD. I mean, sometimes
it's a big mind,
no.
Empty space.
No, it's a tiny mind where the synapses between each part of your brain are completely fucking fried.
It does jump.
But very slowly. It's like watching an old knacker of a horse try and get over a show jump.
The one leg's kind of not fell off, not broken, just kind of gangrenous. Yeah. Gangrenous.
Yeah. If your brain was a horse, it should have been made into glue a long time ago.
Did you see the I don't know what this made you think of it. The Paris, I think it was, in the last couple of months, the largest ever goldfish was found.
Oh right, okay.
You've not seen it? I'll show you a picture of it because it is amazing.
It's not one that they reckon's been flushed down the toilet, is it? And it's still alive.
God knows what toilet this would have been flushed down. When you see it, you'll see what I mean.
Grown into some mutant goldfish.
It looks like a mutant goldfish. How crazy that look? Wow. It looks fake, doesn't it?
It looks fake. It's also like koi carpish.
It swims around on the video like it's legitimately real.
Wow. Okay. It's basically a koi carp.
Looks like that, yeah.
Or a form of carp.
I wonder if it's like...
You can always tell a carp because of the whiskers. So the bottom feeders and they eat shit.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I used to know a few people that were bottom feeders.
Bottom feeders?
Yeah, I knew a few bottom feeders.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I don't mean they were into coprophilia. I mean they were bad people. Like Santa, he's a bad man. We've just got past the epidemic that is Santa coming to our houses at least again.
Santa's a bad... So, this shows how much you tend to just drink at Christmas.
I thought you specifically meant me then.
But I got into the whole thing of that, like the science behind Santa.
Okay, it's interesting to think about.
Okay, so a scientist calculated that I think it was something like, and my facts are going to be completely wrong.
Is it like how many houses you have to do like?
So, in order for Santa to transverse the entirety of the world in a day and deliver all the presents to every household in the world, he would need to be travelling at something like 3/4 of the speed of light.
So not even... That surprises me that it's not even the speed of light.
Right. And also, like, that's also pretty bad because
Viable.
technically it's a DUI because he's drinking at every single house.
Milk.
He's basic and sherry and brandy.
Some houses he gives
and
that. He gives
eggnog.
that to the elves. He saves that up, and when he gets home, gives it to the elves and gets wasted with Mrs.
Brandy, eggnog. I'm surprised his reindeers get off the ground with the amount of carrots
To
left
be
out.
fair.
And mince pies.
And
I'm
mince
surprised
pies.
he gets off the ground.
He
look,
needs them for his fuel.
yeah. But what you got to remember
He's alien.
is there's a lot of... So, not everyone celebrates Christmas on the 25th of December. The Russians don't. The Russians celebrate Christmas in January, I believe.
Oh, really?
So he hasn't got to do
But they
Russia.
don't matter. One thing the news has told us is that the Russians don't matter right now.
He hasn't got to do Russia. He hasn't got to do only deliver coal to Russia.
Yeah, I've
although-
thought about this. Coldo, the whole idea that since back in the day, that's what they give to bad people.
Yeah.
You know, people who have been naughty. But at the same time, back in the day, coal would have been something you'd actually appreciate because you can burn
Yeah,
it
you
and
can
keep
like
warm.
heat your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to get coal
No.
back in the day.
No. Not in the Victorian times anyway.
Exactly, yeah. Scrooge time, you know.
Yeah. But you wouldn't need to do Russia. Wouldn't need to do China. Wouldn't need to do
North Korea.
North Korea.
Can't imagine they celebrate Christmas.
Wouldn't need to do a lot of the Far East. Wouldn't need to do any country, that doesn't celebrate Christianity. Essentially,
What, is it a Christian thing though, Santa? It's just if you celebrate Christmas, really. Because a lot of Christmas is pagan.
well, yeah, but there's the Jewish don't celebrate Christmas, so you've got that. The Muslims, as far as I'm aware, don't celebrate Christmas.
A lot of Muslim
so there's a
people
lot of
in England do.
yes,
Because they have the time off as well.
yeah. I mean, like there's
If
certain
you've got
things.
a
I
tree
mean,
in your house and it's
actually,
like
if
telling
you-
Santa, you can come and put presents under my tree.
yeah,
We'll go with that.
But if you look, right, so you take religion, the people who don't celebrate Christmas, and then also a lot of countries celebrate Christmas at different periods. I believe the Scandinavians celebrate it at a slightly different time as well.
Never heard that phrase again.
Scandinavians.
I guess it's
Scandinavians.
Scandinavia and Norwegians.
Yeah, that's it. And Finland, yeah.
Okay.
Scandinavian, Norwegian, Finland. So the they celebrate a slightly different thing, although that's Saint Nicolaus, isn't
Okay.
it? Which is where the idea of Father Christmas comes from. So good old Saint Nick.
Do you know why he's in red? In the red and white?
Originally it was in green, and then
Yeah,
Coca-Cola took over the marketing.
Yeah.
Is the general consensus. How true that is, I'm not sure. But
It's like 1880s, wasn't it? So it was a while ago, and they were like one of the biggest. As soon as they put it out more, I can see. 'Cause
Yeah.
You can see the things. I've seen the campaign thing where he was put as red. I've seen before it when he was in green. So.
holidays are coming. Yeah.
Yeah, they are indeed. They haven't updated their stuff since.
And then you've got... So basically, he's only got to do about half the world and he's got an entire week to do certain parts of the world.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
So actually,
Not too
it's
hard.
probably logistically possible.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Santa's real.
For Santa to, the scientific evidence.
Yeah.
There is a bit of scientific grounding that allows Santa to be real.
So in that case, then, if it's like half the speed, it must be at least like only like what, a quarter of speed of light. I'm guessing?
Yeah,
Could
possibly.
you go? How fast is speed of? I'm not sure how fast speed of light even is.
Very fast.
It is very fast.
There is a number on it, and I
did
can't
see
remember
it
what the
before.
number
I
is.
checked it before. I think it was like 1,000 something
Yeah.
miles an hour.
1,000 miles? No. It's way more than 1,000 miles an
Is
hour.
it?
Because I think it's 300 and...
Oh god, okay, so it's 299,000 meters a second.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fast.
Yeah.
That's very fast. I was
Yeah.
about to say like. Depends.
So it's 299 million...
299,000.
No, 299
Oh, yeah,
million,
you're right, sorry.
792,458 meters per second.
Yeah. You have to speak
So
on
pretty
the
fucking
debate how
fast,
you have to say
basically.
it.
So pretty bloody fast.
Yeah.
So almost 300 million meters per second.
Is it right that the speed of sound is like 300 something? Is that?
Yes, speed of sound is, I believe, something like 362. I want to say. You know, we can do.
It's surprising how early we broke the speed of sound.
Mach 1, yeah.
Is that what it is, Mach 1?
Yeah. There you go. 343 meters per second is the speed of sound. So we can now get to Mach 5 with 6th generation fighters. I think we can do. Yeah, so 767 miles an hour.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because we stopped Concorde, but that could go faster than the speed of sound, couldn't it?
Yes, it could go faster than Mark 1, I believe.
Oh, and now we've got Mark 5. So
so Mark 5 is 5 times the speed of sound. Yeah, so that's your Gen 6, which is basically... So we're at Gen 5 fighters at the moment.
I would always heard of Mark 1 and all that. I never knew what
and Gen 6 is likely to be hypersonic fighters.
Is that...
Hypersonic. So so you've got supersonic, which is faster than the speed of sound.
That's when you make a sonic blast, then it's when you go faster than the speed of sound.
Yeah. So you go faster than the speed of sound, you create the sound wave, sonic boom.
You can do that just by like whipping something, and you hear that crack, that's it, going faster.
Yeah.
So interesting that you can do it in your hand like that, you know.
Yeah. So you've got the sonic boom, basically, which is breaking the sound barrier. Then you've got hypersonic, which is, I think... faster than Mach 4. So 4 times the speed of sound, then puts you into hypersonic speeds. So Blackbird, I believe, did 3.34 Mach 3.34. I think was the fastest it could do, and it was low atmosphere.
It'd be interesting to know how fast they can go, because I feel like it's got to be getting to the point now then where you're as fast as you can go for people to be able to survive. You know, because there's only so fast you can go in it where people can survive it. With the G's and stuff, like
with the acceleration. So you can't do like from 0 to speed of sound. You break yourself in half. But if you gradually accelerate.
Yeah, but I think they're still so fast, you know. Isn't that like...
No, you can continue. You can continue. Yeah, you can continue to go. But then you've got but then you've got stuff like Einstein's theory of relativity that then start working in regards to it. So therefore,
the movement.
Technically, the faster you're going, your perceived, thing. So the faster you start going,
one of the energy, isn't it? It's going to keep going that way. You know, you turn.
Well, it's the two. It's to do with I can't remember the exact thing. So so you've got, but it's in relative to you. So
yeah.
The bloke standing on the ground looking at it, time is moving at a speed, and because you're doing X amount of miles per hour, time is moving at a different speed. So relative to you, time moves differently.
Good way to look at that is in space. I think it was the International Space Station. There was some Russian dude, I think, who spent like years and years up there, and by the time he came down, he technically like travelled forward in time. I think very minusculely. But because he was
So relative to him, he's moved faster
around the thingy, the spin,
because he's been orbiting Earth. So technically, he is.
It's like
a second older.
It's like that thing in Interstellar, isn't
than everyone else.
Have you seen Interstellar?
No.
There's one bit in that when near the end where they go to like a planet, and the two or something that go down to the planet are there for like an hour or so, and then go back to the ship. But in that time for the ship, it had been like decades that had gone by, so the guy was all like aged and that. And apparently, like that's a real thing. Like there's planets like that out there where that's real.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to get your head around, though.
Yeah. So it's in relative to whoever's stood where. So basically, time reacts differently based upon relative.
It's the exact same thing as the space station. It's just at a much higher scale, though.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about.
Yeah. So someone doing hypersonic speeds around the Earth, if he was to go around the Earth multiple times at hypersonic speed, then technically he is a few seconds older.
Yeah. Superman.
So he's a few seconds older than the person on the ground because time relative to him has been moving quicker.
Well, considering talking about like the flight of things and like the movement, especially more than anything, being like what limits people. Have you seen, possibly go into tinfoil hat territory here?
Oh, no.
Well, see, I don't know. I wouldn't consider it, but you might. Have you seen the alien videos that have come out, like in the Pentagon of...
No.
Have you
No,
seen
I
any of that stuff? Do you know
no.
what the Pentagon have confirmed and that?
No. I mean, I completely agree that, look, there's got to be life out there, whether or not it's in humanoid form, whether or not it's more or less advanced. I can't say. There's not enough scientific evidence out there. I mean,
well, this is the point of the Pentagon files. So what they've released is a lot of like scientific data, because they just confirmed that since like Roswell time, so like the 40s or like early 50s, they have actually been had a department that's gone, and every time there's been something, report something, they've gone and checked it out. Most of the time, they've been able to work out it was nothing. The odd time they wasn't sure. There's only been like out of like the hundreds of different things. There's only been like 3. No, I think it was more like 10 or something, but not many.
What I originally
where they couldn't explain it.
Well, I know, and I might be completely wrong here because again, it's off the top of my head. But the Roswell.
It is a nice head. I can never see the top of it though. Obviously.
Yeah. Good because there's hardly any hair there, so
you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The Roswell thing was originally set up for like an anti-communism thing, because obviously all this stuff was happening in the 1950s, which was when the Cold War was going on. So there was a lot of,
I think
basically.
It was 40s, the original Roswell stuff.
Yeah, so it was late 40s. It was after the Second World War.
Yeah, the Cold War was pretty much going on since the Second World War anyway, essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
But what do you mean though? Because Roswell was just like a one thing that happened that they tried to cover up like very quickly.
Yeah, so it was
in crap ways.
Well, yeah, it was basically, from what I understand, it was covering up certain things. So, for example,
there was a crash of something.
Yeah, so it was covering up, things which might have actually been, a Russian fighter jet or something like that.
Arguably, they would know.
And covering up spy shit, basically.
Possibly just as likely, yeah.
And I believe that's what originally it was kind of there for, the NSA.
The thing that was documented to have come down was like more disc shaped though, because there were a lot of people that saw it. That was the issue.
Yeah.
And then the next day they reported it as a weather balloon, and one guy holding the stuff. I think it was a cop out, but he was forced to do that with this different stuff that he was originally talking about the day before. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about Roswell. It's impossible to know from back then. But the stuff that's come out recently though, there's been videos of like these things in the sky that they've confirmed then. They can't know what they are. They're definitely not anything from their government. And they're like, it could be from another government. We can't say it's not. But all we can say is that we don't know anyone with this technology. We're nowhere near it. We understand how it works, but we can't produce it. If anyone could produce it, any other country, then it'd be game over. Because the kind of technology it is like gravity manipulation.
Well, human beings are first forefront of being hyper intelligent is to try and explain something that can't be explained, and then
you can explain this.
If you can't explain something that can't really be explained, then you start going into conspiracy tinfoil hat.
Possibly, you can do
things. So
but that's something that you can explain though, in regards to the science behind how
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth was a lizard, for example.
Oh yeah, see that's the thing though. That's what
God
bothers
rest
me.
her soul.
It's those kind of people that give conspiracy theorists a bad name. Oh yeah, freaking lizard people. You're Atlantis. You're
the Illuminati.
Flat Earth.
Hollow Earth. Yeah.
I mean, I consider myself a free thinker, not a conspiracy theorist.
A free thinker. Yeah, you're just putting yourself in another box, basically.
One thing though, like me and Nathan, like on the Killed Him with Comedy, we go over like a lot of conspiracies and stuff. But one thing we generally agree on most of the time is most of the time we look at a conspiracy and it's like, why do people believe this? That's the overarching question constantly. It's like, why do people believe this one?
Yeah, people believe what they want to believe in order to make themselves feel better about something in basically if they feel that they know something, then therefore they feel better about
confirmation bias
thing. Yeah.
Oh, 1 second. Need to grab something. And we're back.
Yes, we're back.
So no to
after that interlude.
No to aliens then.
Not no to aliens. Not no to intelligent life out there. But
yeah, statistically it's got to be out there.
Yes.
Yeah. The idea whether it's been here already or not.
Yeah, the whole.
Convinced.
Yeah. I'm not. Until I'm presented hard scientific fact.
So have you seen those videos, those ones of because that's the interesting thing. They can tell how they're moving, but if it was us with the technology we have, using general.
Yeah, I've seen bits of bits of this stuff. So
and our propulsion is generally very archaic in the idea of we push energy from the back which moves something forward. Their way of doing it is essentially manipulating gravity, so you're always falling. But it's not you falling, it's more the universe falling around you. It's like a perception thing,
Right. Okay. So it's like a relative... Yeah,
to them, they're nothing. Yeah. They're doing all this crazy stuff, but they don't even feel it.
Yeah.
Because it's the world doing it around them,
Right.
It's interesting, though. That's the thing. Theoretically, they understand the science behind it, but as far as material science goes, there's no way to replicate it. They have no way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's interesting, but it's not something that I trouble myself with.
Yeah, I like that. I'm too good for that.
It's not being too. It's there's too much stuff going on in the real world.
There's
so
enough real world stuff to think about.
Yeah, there's enough crap going on at the moment that sort of trying to figure out a blooming existential crisis. It's it's not high on the list of priorities.
So, see, that's the thing about this kind of time of the year, 2nd of January. I like this kind of time of the year. A lot of people don't like the whole thinking about, you kind of take a stock of everything you've done over the last year, or the last year in general. Everything.
I mean, I find it hilarious that as we went into the 2020s, a new decade, we were like, yeah, new decade, it's going to be brilliant. It's been shit.
Yeah. Well, it's only been 2 days. Oh,
no,
what do you mean?
No, 20? I mean the decade.
Oh, the 20s.
The 20s. Yeah. The 2020s has been... we went from 19 and then it was like COVID.
Yeah.
It was like everything stops.
I was going to
say... And then it's
2021
is going to be far better. Kind of, no.
I'll find that funny.
And then 2022 is going to be far better. Oh, wait, fucking Russia's rolled into Ukraine, the fucking idiots.
I mean, 2022 in regards to... COVID was much better. We've got a lot more.
In regard, we went from pandemic to war.
Yeah. That's,
back
to normal at least. Normality.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, isn't it? It's like a cost of living crisis. Everything's gone fucking mental.
The cost of living crisis, that's one of the harder things to deal with at the moment. I could kind of see something like this coming though when the pandemic was around and now we're just handing out extra money to everyone. Which obviously, I was one of the people not working too, so I appreciated it, but you could kind of see it becoming an issue because apparently they didn't have all this money before. And then a war as well after that.
Well, yeah, they were hoping that everything would sort of get back to normal.
Because that's what you want the politicians to do, just hope.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do work upon facts and figures.
Not very well.
You think.
You
hope they do.
Yeah. That's about. I like government, and I one day love the idea of going to try and do something in government, like politics and that. You have to be old to do it, though. So.
Yeah,
then the stereotype of the kind of person you have to be is gone a bit.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to get into politics, Kd. To be fair, mate.
You say that, but there's no reason why not.
Come on, David Cameron was once quizzed about having a spliff at university.
Yeah.
If you went into politics, I'm pretty sure your career would be down the drain before you even fucking started.
In America...
Unless you're part of the legalised cannabis party.
Yeah, I was going to say. In America, it is legal pretty much everywhere now. Yeah, it does that kind of thing. Whenever that freezer clicks, that one screen goes off for
okay.
For reasons. But yeah, in America though, like
It's a sign of times to come. That you won't be able to run multiple devices in your home in 2023.
so that's another likely thing that could happen. A big solar storm as well.
Yeah, this what's her name? That Bulgarian woman. Is it Bulgarian? Baba Yaga or whatever her name was. Baba someone.
Yaga, yeah.
Baba
like
someone, you know, all these crazy predictions.
That prediction person, yeah.
That apparently there's going to be a massive solar flare in 2023 and all this sort of stuff.
So I did see something about there being like, I mean, I don't put any stuff
Also,
in
this idiot
these.
bloody TikTok, right? I fucking hate TikTok.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you there. Chinese owned as well, remember people. You're helping the Chinese government. Nothing against the Chinese people. A lot against the Chinese government.
Yeah. But that aside, we aren't going into some massive, again, conspiracy theory type thing.
Conspiracy theory.
Well, no, it's not conspiracy theory, but we're going into areas which are like, you know.
We're
going into spy and subterfuge territory.
Yeah, my
here.
audience are some smart people. They're switched on. They know what's going on. Over 1,000 of them been listening to this last month.
Congratulations, audience. You are smarter than KD. It's not a feat that you should be proud of at all because he's basically got the brain the size of a goldfish. But congratulations, well done.
See, you say that goldfish actually can remember things for 6 months.
Yeah, okay, he's dumber than a goldfish.
Yeah, still not good, is it?
You can barely remember something for 6 seconds.
As I said, I was like, 6 months ain't that good though.
Yeah. And you're worse than that, so, you know.
Did you ever do an IQ test?
Yes.
I bet you would never believe what my IQ was.
Well, on what test? Because an IQ, the whole, I've got an IQ 140 is complete bollocks because you have to quote the test. There's 3 separate tests that constitute an IQ. So therefore,
mine was the one you know that they use for the TV destination thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Whatever that was.
Right. So I don't think it was Culture Fair B.
Actually, no. I think that was the one I did in school. Actually, the one I'm thinking of. The one I did on TV was when I did it really high, and I was interested to see what I'd get when I did it really high. I got like 80 something.
Right.
Like
okay.
the down the bottom end of the average, you know.
You know, again, further proof that smoking marijuana is detriment to the brain and not necessarily the intelligent side of the brain, but maybe boost creativity. But there's theories out there.
Definitely.
Again, we won't get into that fucking thing.
Well, you've already said it now, though.
Well, no, I don't want to get into it because it could be. Look,
you already said part of it.
I've got like 15 more minutes. Like I haven't got enough time to talk about that shit. So no.
Okay, fine. But I will just say that once your brain has finished developing, then I can tell a difference. That's when you should smoke weed. Not when your brain's still developing. It's up until like 25, 26.
Right.
After is definitely the better time.
Yeah, because ladies and gentlemen, please, listen to KD and his wealth of scientific knowledge.
When it comes to marijuana, yeah.
On that.
I'm smarter than you think. I know a lot about. I know a bit about a lot. There you go. That's a better way to put it.
He's great in the pub quiz.
Yeah.
So, what was your IQ then?
My IQ was 131.
Or whatever test that was.
Yeah, whatever test that was.
So that could be good or bad.
Well, I've only ever known like IQ tests are all the same. Like that was a school one, I remember. No,
so each IQ test has different parameters and different scoring.
I know.
So, for example, you could score 152 on one, but it would actually only be equivalent to a score of 127 on another, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You should find some official ones, like some of the best ones, and then I'll specifically get a few different people to do it.
Yeah.
I do it myself too. It'll be interesting. I'll record myself doing it and time lapse it so people can see. I'll be interested to know what I'd get now. It'll be very interesting.
But it's all verbal and non-verbal reasoning. Is basically what it is.
What?
It's verbal and non-verbal reasoning.
Like logic and that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
in
yeah.
order to get so
Not very good logic.
So
I don't think I got.
I've scored very highly on IQ tests because I was trained to do the 11 plus, which is verbal and non-verbal reasoning in order to get into grammar school.
Another example of why I'm an idiot, but also... Actually, I'm not going to say that. That might be offensive, in case I'm not. So I'm not going to say that. Because I did one of those tests to get, like, might be diagnosed with something. Even though I don't know how much stake I put into the diagnosis of certain things in people. Not that they're not real or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just for certain people... I don't know, I don't feel like myself it would be helped at all by having a diagnosis of something.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way, but yeah.
Nothing bad against you or anything. If I thought that it would help in any way, you know. But yeah. But what predictions do you have, or what things would you like to do in the next year, though?
What, like carrying on for the Baba, whatever her name is?
Yeah, okay.
Well, like...
Well, just, yeah.
I don't know. I would like the Ukraine conflict to wind to an end.
Yeah.
I think we're at such a kind of tenterhooks at the moment. Everything's like on edge. Everyone's living on the breadline.
Anything could just kind of pop
like,
off as well.
Yeah.
It does feel like...
It literally, the world feels a bit like a tinderbox at the moment. And it's very much kind of like, oh shit, what's going to happen next? It literally, this decade has been very much kind of like, oh, what natural disaster, what all man-made disasters coming next?
Yeah, climate change.
Pick it out of a hat. Oh, solar storm. There we go. You know.
That's the thing, climate change and like war coming at the same time, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I watched...
Climate change you can't deny at this point when you look at all the droughts and the hottest summer and the coldest winter.
Well, I watched Finch with Tom Hanks on Apple TV Plus the other day, which is...
I think I've heard of that.
When basically humanity is being put into a crazy state because the world, basically a solar flare, destroyed the ozone layer and turned the ozone layer into Swiss cheese.
Oh.
So of course that then fucks up the weather systems.
Yeah.
You know, there's
just literally got rid of the
so it's
ozone
basically
layer.
post-apocalyptic, but not in the post-apocalyptic sort of human-made disaster, like man-made disaster. It's post-apocalyptic, you know, sort of external natural cause, apocalyptic
it probably wasn't
event.
helped though by people like weakening the ozone and stuff, because that's a big part of climate change as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So there's all that, again, without sort of delving into all that sort of stuff. But
we can't help being smart people.
There's the problem is, so one of the reasons that I don't like to delve it is because I don't have all the facts. I might be smart and intelligent and know and know
you can never have all the facts.
But if I don't have actual facts, which is why I feel like Google. I mean, I feel really sorry for parents now because, like, for example, going back to the whole Santa thing, right?
Yeah.
And basically, you tell your kid that Santa exists and Santa is, Santa's real.
Telling me that he exists.
Like now you've got like a 3-year-old with a phone who can basically just Google that and find out that actually it's a load of bollocks.
If you've got a kid smart enough to work the phone and good enough English to type it all in, and he's 3 years old, he deserves to find that out.
See, but this is why I feel that there should be a bit more scientific, in order that you can sort of keep that child who's going to Google it.
To be fair, there's no reason why your 3-year-old should be freely on Google anyway. No parent should let their 3-year-old... I don't even know what age, like up to like 8, even like 10, I don't know if they should be freely Googling shit.
Yeah, I think, I think the safe search function should basically anything other than Postman Pat. Like
kids' version of everything.
Yeah, kids' version of everything. Like
kids
literally,
YouTube.
like, so yeah, basically everything should be like child variant.
Yeah.
Child-friendly variants.
That's the thing, growing up with kids in this kind of age now, as I got 2 myself, and just thinking about my oldest one has started secondary school now, and thinking about him doing all the stuff that I did in secondary school, or, all of that, but with the internet there too.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing, my friend. It's a scary thing.
See, I mean, as far as predictions and stuff go, I don't know. It honestly feels like everything that could possibly go wrong is just going wrong at the moment. So I'm quite.
Like,
I mean,
in the world, you mean, rather than
yeah. So I'm quite. I wouldn't say excited, but let's see what's next in the shit lottery.
Would you say you're more like quietly optimistic?
Quietly optimistic. Yeah.
When it comes to the world,
kind of. I'm also like I feel like the harbinger of sort of
doom.
Doom as well, because it's like, right, let's see what happens next. If there's a point where...
It's entertaining to sit back and watch the world burn sometimes.
In 2023, currency became null and void and everyone had to barter with chickens and small fish.
You know what? I would like that world. I said the world would be like far too much. I don't understand money a lot of the time when you see these countries. There's like only a certain amount of countries in the world and these big superpowers are asking each other and like trading huge amounts of money.
Oh yeah, the whole thing is just wooden dollars.
Yeah, it's a man-made concept. It's like, why is that so important? It's so weird.
Yeah, it's in order to get away from the whole bartering system, basically. That my chicken's worth more than your chicken, and I will trade you. I will trade you a fish for your chicken, and I have a car, so that will cost you 27,000 chickens. It's like literally my car is worth more than your car, so therefore I need your car in part exchange with 75 chickens, 2 goats, and a camel.
It's very good work, with troops and machines, like Ukraine at the moment. This is the thing as well with the war stuff going on right now.
It's not Command and Conquer. Like, it's not like Red Alert 3. You can't just go building, more troops, building.
Should be able to make everything a lot
easier.
Just
plug in a mod and start like...
Yeah, life mod.
Did you see... sticking with the whole sort of Command and Conquer thing. Have you ever played Command and Conquer Red Alert 3?
I've played for a few Red Alerts. I don't know which ones.
Oh, the cutscenes with Tim Curry...
Oh wow, no!
Oh my god, they were these cutscenes, right? If you find it and you like video editing stuff, like play, it's like Tim Curry and space, and it's turned into a meme now, right?
Commander, I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space.
And it's like
I'll make a note of it to try and add it in.
So Tim Curry does this thing. And I'll pause here.
What do you have for me?
I'm sorry, Comrade General. I meant Premier Cherdenko.
In order to allow Tim Curry
to do his thing.
Tim Curry to do his thing. But yeah, so what you may have just seen.
Yes, General. It is a trap. And you, my friend, are the bait.
It's Tim Curry. It's turned into such a meme. It's like, I go to the last place where communism that hasn't been taken over by capitalism, and he's trying desperately not to laugh, right? So he's doing this space. It's like it's ridiculous. The voice acting and everything is so hilarious. This is when EA was making like decent games and stuff like that.
Around, sir.
Thank you, Dasha. It is good to be alive.
Yeah.
Like, it was hilarious. You got the amount of A-list talent in those cutscenes, and then all the commando stuff and the briefing people are basically models.
But you should thank our commander here. He's the one who led the assault on Gibraltar.
It is indeed a pleasure, Commander. I hope you were satisfied with Natasha's contribution on the battlefield. She's one of our finest.
Yeah.
Right? It's literally like this crazy bit of sexism, and there's another bit as well. There's another cutscene. Again, I will pause, which will allow you to sort of go and find said cutscene.
Welcome back, General. Thank you. Yes, my friend.
Me. I don't think he understands how film editing works, because I don't need the space. I appreciate it.
You don't need the space. Oh, fine. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't. But yeah. So that cutscene, Tim Curry, basically, is so sexist. There's a girl bending over, right, and he just sort of turns and looks, and then looks back to the camera and is like, and it's so creepy, but they know their audience so well, it's crazy.
It's worse when you see something like that, but it's like someone like Kevin Spacey doing this.
Oh yeah.
Then it's hard, or any of Moonwalker.
Oh yeah. Some of the memes are amazing. What's the what's his name from no.
Get away from me,
Go
drug.
no.
What are you doing?
Pulp Fiction.
This isn't marijuana anyway, it's a legal cigarette. Don't be silly.
Yes.
Unless you're from America, then 420 bros.
Let's wait for the entirety of my future career to go down the drain. But no.
In what? In comedy?
Well, yeah.
Right, I don't think it's going to go down the drain for smoking, especially in comedy.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't know what's in the future, do you?
That's not a future I want to be a part of.
Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, we all might be dead anyway.
But yeah.
Looking on the bright side of life right there.
The memes. Some of the memes are amazing. What's his name from? Is it John Travolta from Pulp Fiction? Where he's like that meme.
Yeah.
That meme has become like amazing. Where it's like
around one.
stood with a coat. Yeah.
And
it's like these things.
So many things
from pop culture has just become, and it's hilarious to see like what.
The things that stick out and
because there are people in advertising and marketing,
yes,
who are looking for the next big meme.
Yeah.
So that they can advertise.
You can't know what's going to go viral.
Yeah, so they can advertise. So the next big viral thing. So you got, for example, one which
most
was
you can
huge.
do is keep putting stuff out and try and get it to go viral.
Yeah.
Like the thing that went viral recently.
Well, one that was massive in marketing was Compare the Meerkat.
Yeah,
the whole simples, that thing.
Popped off. That's very much in the pop culture now. To the point that I saw on a quiz show and they asked what Compare the was it something about Orange Wednesdays are now part of what Compare site. And they were like, oh, it's the one with the meerkats. Compare the meerkats. And it's like, no, compare the markets.
Okay. Yeah.
But they didn't even think about it,
compare the market.
Yeah, you know that before you know the actual company.
Compare the meerkat before you know compare the market.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually really quite interesting to look at some of the analytics that they do. Because the biggest one is one that we've just gone past, which is Christmas adverts.
Yeah, it's a huge one.
What will make the next big? So the John Lewis one, John Lewis one with the penguin, and all that sort of stuff. With the John Lewis one with the bear and the Lily Allen thing. Well, a lot of these Christmas adverts went down the route of sort of realising that there's a cost of living crisis on. So actually, we're going to help with that as opposed to do like some massive marketing advert. But one of my favourite ones of all time was probably the Sainsbury's one.
The Christmas football
in the really trenches. That was just wicked.
Yeah.
It was just so good to see that.
It was cool as well because it was one of them stories. I think most people knew it as well. Most people knew that story, but like you said, seeing it.
The Christmas truce.
Yeah.
That very early on in the war, that people were gentlemen enough to because it was seen as a gentlemanly thing.
Well.
I mean, when planes were first created, as war machines,
They're made of wood.
Yeah, balsa wood.
Yeah, that's scary shit. That is.
Yeah, balsa wood and canvas. But the pilots used to wave at each other as they were crossing because they were just used for spy. And then they started shooting each other with bloody handguns.
Yeah. Oh God. Handguns.
And well, they started throwing stuff at each other, then shooting revolvers at each other, and then you had an observer with a machine gun, and then it started going into dogfighting and stuff. But
Popped off, man.
Just some bloke, a British and a German, just flying past each other. Fucking just.
It's interesting to think what like the next warfare is going to be, because I think the
Cyber.
Ukrainian-Russian war is like a bit more retro than I think most wars.
Well,
nowadays
yeah, so
going to be in the very
so
short
it's
future,
kind of
at
shown
least.
that the Russians are, you know, the Russian bear doesn't have any teeth.
Yeah.
You know, and all the teeth are actually incompetent.
Incompetent teeth.
Incompetent teeth. Yeah, they just fall out.
Yeah.
But
I'm guessing the Russian. You're saying like the Russians have got no bark left, no bite.
yeah, so it's all bark and no bite.
Yeah,
But the one thing that's come out of this is it's actually become a very much a war of information, and almost a war of propaganda.
Yeah.
So basically, the Ukrainians have done it very, very well. The entirety of the Western world is more or less behind them.
Yeah.
It's the reporting is always on the benefit of the Ukrainians, and it's the one point where the freedom of media has allowed for this to happen as well.
I don't think
so
it was
public
even Ukraine
sentiment
that did that. I would say it was more like that was kind of pushing Ukraine to be smart enough to go along with it.
Yeah, but it's this. The public consensus is behind the Ukraine.
Yeah.
So everyone is, you know, there's a lot of benefit in regards to that. And Zelensky knows that he needs to keep this in the favour and in the front of the public's mind in order to get support from his Western allies in order to do that. So it's actually become a war of information.
Do you acknowledge, though, as well, the one worst thing about this war is there's always, at the beginning I thought this straight away, is like there's always so many wars going on all around. Why is America and everywhere making out they care so much about this one? And then it makes a lot of sense when you look into like NATO, like just NATO.
Well, it's the territory advantage that it gives.
It's the whole
it
NATO
gives
wanting
Russia
to go nearer to
So
Serbia.
so if he takes over the entirety, then he's got all the borders with literally every NATO country.
It is, to be fair though, you know, it is us pushing in. Oh, it was NATO pushing in originally, arguably, and there was always like disagreement apparently after like the Cold War and that it would never be like NATO and Russia.
Yeah, but so you almost ended up after the Cold War, you almost ended up with Russia in NATO. And they kind of poo-pooed it.
I would argue as well.
And it was never meant to carry. It was never meant to carry on. There's a load of brilliant videos. Alternate History Hub shows some brilliant facts and Kd from there shows some brilliant facts and bits and pieces in regards to that and the alternate history. What if Russia became part of NATO? Yeah. So. They're well worth a watch if you're actually interested in stuff like that. And I've watched a couple of those. But yeah, so basically the defensive alliance, but it's so scary. But also at the same time, you got the West dropped the ball for quite a bit. I mean, back with the original illegal annexation of Crimea, and. Basically,
who
kind of
America, you said.
Well,
I don't know.
NATO. So Russia annexed Crimea back in, I think it was 2008. They also annexed, I think it was in 2014. They annexed a couple of bits of Georgia as well. So this is not the first time they've done this.
So Ukraine, there was something that popped up in Ukraine and Russia in 2014, wasn't it? There was something that happened.
I think it was 2000. I want to say it was 2008, but it might have been 2014.
That was when the pro-Russia people were outed, wasn't it? I think.
No. So the annexation of Crimea, which was basically Russia rolling into Crimea and going, these people are Russian.
Yeah.
You know, we've done a
I know it's always been
we've done a poll and we've got a bunch of people with Russian passports. We're protecting our own territory. What had actually happened?
China with Taiwan
what I believe is that the Ukrainians had actually discovered some oil in Crimea, which would have turned them into a petrostate, which is
like
allied very closely with Europe, and Europe, countries like Germany, wouldn't have needed to rely upon Russia for Nord.
Yeah,
for Nord pipelines and stuff like that. So,
for the gas
and the Ukrainians could have undercut Russia and sold it cheaper, which is not what Putin wanted. So Putin rolled in, they dropped the bullet. They just went. The NATO countries just went, "Oh, we're going to sanction you."
Yeah.
And it didn't really hit them that hard. It wasn't until that they actually decided that they were going to invade Ukraine that we've gone, oh shit, we can't do that. No, stop them at all costs.
But that's what I'm saying though, when you look at it from like that kind of scope, you can see that it's not, they like to make out they're doing it, America and all NATO in general, because they care so much about Ukraine. That's not what it is.
Look,
that's never what it is.
Yeah, it's territorial land, but there is a general, the consensus of the population is that we do care about this because
it's putting them into massive
because it's an illegal it's an illegal war.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it has hurt our pockets and stuff like this. And again, I am not an expert.
We're putting them into massive debt as well.
And I am not an expert on this topic at all. And there are plenty of videos.
Did you not know that I'm a #1 journalist?
In his tiny mind.
Tiny mind in my tiny world too.
Yeah. However, there are plenty of sources on YouTube that you can go out and have a look at some of the videos.
Mayonnaise.
Mustard. That you can have a look and actually check out the real mustard on what is out there, and what is happening and what some of the geopolitical things were for this conflict. And if you are interested, then I do suggest that you go out and have a look at it, because it is fascinating.
It is very interesting. It's hard to really.
This is a comedy podcast, and it's not funny, but it is like it's dead interesting.
This is not a comedy podcast. It's a comedian podcast.
It's a comedian podcast talking about serious things.
Comedians can talk about anything.
Yeah.
We can go from talking about silly stuff. I made a reference about sauces like barbecue. You went to mustard when we was talking. That's a bit silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the while talking about geopolitics, because we're smart people.
Yes, indeed.
And geopolitics are a thing that happen in the world, but this world is also mental.
Yeah, the world is a bit crazy. I think mental. I'll end it on this, I suppose. I think prediction of 2023.
Rude motherfucker telling me what to end my podcast on.
I just I'm time sensitive. Thank you very much.
That's fine.
But yeah, no. So personally, I would just like 2023 to be a bit more fucking normal. Is that like too much to ask?
I think so.
It's like,
I think it is.
I feel like going, can we just have like a normal year?
You know, good thing though,
I don't want shit to go wrong, like all of a sudden, like, solar flare, nuclear, holocaust, all that sort of shit. I mean, don't want any of that. I just like a normal year.
Us not having electric for a couple of months, or having an EMP so everything has to get fixed again. Maybe not EMP so everything has to get fixed again, that would be a bit awkward, but electric going off for a few days, that'll do us good, I think.
Well, everyone who's converted to an electric car would be pretty screwed.
Well, that's fine.
It's like, screw you with your car. Look at me, my electric.
Where are you going to go anyway? Even if
Mind you, the petrol car does have a battery in it, and the EMP would take out the battery.
Yeah, true. And where are you going to go anyway, even if it does work?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. That'll be okay for everyone. A couple of days.
Shop.
Yeah, a couple of days of chill time, Be like the beginning of the pandemic. Remember the beginning of the pandemic, like the first 2 weeks when everyone was really nice to each other? The first 2 weeks were lovely. And then it went back to normal.
Yeah, because it was like blazing sunshine. It was basically it was basically like a free holiday.
Oh,
everyone was like, this is amazing, and we're just going to sit. And then we realised how much we hate the people we live with.
Yeah, well.
And those who lived alone realised how much they hated themselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
So there was this sort of downward spiral of just going on, with all those people.
Yeah, the pandemic came at the perfect time for me, because just as I decided, you know what, I don't want to be quite so much of a slag now. And the pandemic came, so it was a bit easier to do it.
Yeah, it was
And-
like the beginning of the pandemic was love thy neighbour, and then by the third, the first lockdown was love thy neighbour, and do well unto others, and then
If you got time.
and then by the third lockdown was basically, is thy neighbour having a barbecue? You must report them to a totalitarian state. It was literally, that was it.
Yeah. Report them to a government, even though they're doing it secretly themselves.
Yep.
One thing I never ran out of during the pandemic, and I was happy about it, was shocking. Marijuana, the one thing you never ran out of during the pandemic. You ran out of everything else, like as a nation.
But
Everything.
drug dealers were
never
on
ran
it.
out. Yeah, man. You gotta. They were the real people to be thankful for over the pandemic.
I mean,
apparently the government
was
are
that
not
what you were clapping for?
Yeah, well, apparently the government.
Just like-
apparently the government don't care about the NHS either. They haven't given any more money in the year since.
No.
Because it's ridiculous.
No.
So-
I'm pretty sure they're not giving money to drug dealers either.
They should. They don't need it. They're good. They got their budget covered. That's sweet.
Yeah, they developed a door-to-door service during the pandemic.
They did.
It's like, you're not allowed out. We're going to pretend that we're key workers, and we're going to get a massive van and paint Asda on the side of it, and then actually just sort of go around.
Yeah. I know one
and
that did it
deliver
as a
them.
florist. A florist.
A florist?
Yeah.
Is that key working?
Oh no, not a key worker. I just meant that.
No, but I
They
mean,
just go
was
around
a florist a key worker?
I don't think so.
Because otherwise,
Surely not.
Otherwise, yeah, because if it's not a key, if that's not key
Just
working,
eat.
then you just get just eat.
Yeah. Because
But
if it work,
yeah,
you need your McDonald's.
yeah, you need a good thing. As a drug dealer, you would fall down if what you've done is not allowed to be on the road, for example.
I mean, personally, I would argue that.
So a florist
my drug
driving
licensing-
around, sort of the police are going to pull it over and go, are you sure that you should be working? I don't think flowers are a must-needed thing.
Well, that's a debate for another time, though.
Mm.
Do you know, in the actual chemist right now, medical marijuana is a thing? You can go in. Look at signs up talking about it.
Yes, it is. I saw something on police. No, was it? It was motorway cops stopping Britain speeders on Channel 5.
That's interesting.
Not sponsored.
That went to that.
Yeah.
What, they like.
Yeah, so some bloke got pulled over for smoking cannabis.
It's very low THC, if any. I'm guessing in that.
Yeah. So basically, he got pulled over for drug diet, and his car stank of cannabis. But actually, they said afterwards, because they say, what he was doing.
Yeah.
It turns out that the amount of in his system, he was still legal to drive, so he didn't get any charges.
Yeah.
Didn't get any charges.
Because I'm guessing, with like the CBD in it, which is medical marijuana, it's going to be CBD heavy with very little THC. If any, I'll be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it's got any in it.
Yeah.
Good like CBD.
But kids, don't drug drive and don't drink and drive.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
worth it.
No, it's just silly anyway. Especially drink and drive as well. That's worse out of the two.
No, I think the impairment from drugs is probably about the same.
I mean, still half people that smoke bud. When you smoke, you get half people get better motor functions, half people get worse. For that reason alone, nobody should drive when they're high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I'm a straight up person. My motor functions go to shit, so I always lean on that side.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say something? Do you know who is the largest exporter of marijuana? My country.
Is it? I know Afghanistan was for a while.
That's hashish.
Yeah.
It probably
hashish.
could have been marijuana too.
Yeah. Hash.
Hashish.
No, I don't.
No. Here.
We are the biggest exporter of marijuana. Brilliant. We're good at something, Britain. We're good at something.
It's not legal here, but we export the most.
But we're brilliant at exporting illegal drugs. So if you want something illegal done and exported, come to Britain. Britain first.
Not as in illegal drugs, illegally exporting though.
Yeah.
So the government and all that.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, because everywhere else it's legal and that. They do grow. There's plenty of fields where they grow it, but it's all Yeah, like subsidiary for the government and stuff, you know. I know it sounds conspiracy-ish, but it's not. It's just a thing.
Right. So we're actually good at exporting marijuana.
Growing and exporting it, yeah.
Brilliant.
It's not surprising. I guess it's got to be something to do with the people that maybe like, you know, got done for growing it somewhere else, and they do it for reasons. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I just know that that's probably the main reason why it's not legal here.
Yeah.
Because they make too much money off it, and you can't argue with it. That's the worst thing, business-wise. It's like, I get it.
Yeah. It's a conversation for another time.
Yeah. Anyway, you might do your plugs. If you want to get them going in.
So you can find me on Facebook, or Alex Plant -comedian. You can find. Is
that a dash?
Dash.
Okay.
Yeah, dash comedian. For
that wasn't for any of them.
KD's mental capacity. You can also find Who Knows Comedy on Facebook as well. Alex Plante on Instagram, and just around. I'm do quite a bit on the Worcester comedy scene, along with guys like Dave Flynn, who does Comedy Night at the Arch Rivals, Lynn Smith, who does what's it called? Firefly Comedy Jam at the Firefly in Worcester, also there's jokes in that at Heroes as well.
I'll have to add 2 groups, and you'll have to tell me them so I can like ask more gigs. Because I'm trying to, probably easier for me not to try and get gigs in Birmingham, more so at the moment anyway.
Yeah.
So I've been going out doing a lot more, but I want to find gigs now.
Yeah, so that's it.
Cool. And what was that one you said? Who Knows Comedy? Is that one of your...
Who Knows Comedy is one that I run. We're having a sabbatical at the moment, but we will hopefully get up and running again this year.
And when it gets going, you'll see this beautiful face there at some point. Even if I'm just in the audience going, Alex, can I go on now?
Yeah.
And he just throws something.
Yeah. It'll be being escorted out by the bouncer.
At least you'll have seen me.
Yeah.
You're memorable. My stuff as always, Kd Comedy. Thank you once again, everybody that's been on. So yourself, Alex, and everyone that's watched. But hopefully get to fucking 1,000 downloads this month, and on to getting a lot more, and then making some moolah from this, baby. Make some moolah from it. It's lovely that ain't the first time you start making money from live comedy, let alone from sitting around talking poop.
Yeah.
In this beautiful studio, they can't tell where it is. It's this beautiful studio.
Yeah, in this wonderful studio with his mum's black curtain.
That's not my mum's black curtain. Mum's black curtain is much bigger.
And on that note, thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye.